Feminist literary criticism has evolved over time through four distinct waves, each marked by its unique focus, concerns, and key concepts. The first wave of feminist literary criticism emerged during the late 19th century and continued into the early 20th century. It was closely linked to the first wave feminism movement, which focused primarily on women's suffrage and legal rights. Key concepts and concerns of this wave include: 1. Gender essentialism. Feminist critics of this era believed that there were inherent differences between men and women, often rooted in biology. They examined how literature reflected and reinforced these perceived gender differences. 2. The woman question. This was a central debate in the 19th century about women's roles in society. First-wave feminist literary critics analyzed literature's portrayal of women and their changing social status in the context of this ongoing debate. 3. The male gaze. Critics noted that male authors often depicted women as objects of desire and subjected female characters to a male gaze that objectified and sexualized them. 4. Visibility of women's writing. First-wave feminist critics sought to bring attention to and elevate the works of female authors who had been overlooked or marginalized in the literary canon. 5. Social and political context. These critics emphasized that literature couldn't be separated from its historical and cultural context. They explored how literature reflected and perpetuated social and political power dynamics. The second wave of feminist literary criticism emerged in the 1960s and extended through the 1980s. It was closely aligned with the broader second-wave feminist movement, which addressed issues like reproductive rights, workplace discrimination, and gender roles. Key concepts and concerns of this wave include: 1. Intersectionality. Second-wave feminist critics recognize that women's experiences are shaped not only by gender but also by factors like race, class, and sexuality. They explored how these intersecting identities influenced literature and representation. 2. Gender performativity. Building on ideas from Judith Butler, this concept posits that gender is not a fixed, innate category, but is constructed through social and cultural practices. Critics examined how characters in literature perform gender roles. 3. Queer theory. Queer theory emerged within this wave, focusing on how literature represented and constructed sexuality and sexual identity, including LGBTQ+ experiences. 4. Language and representation. Critics examined the language used in literature and how it reinforced or challenged gender and power structures. This included discussions of semiotics and language as a tool of oppression. The third wave of feminist literary criticism emerged in the 1990s and extended into the early 2000s. It expanded on the second wave's ideas and began to incorporate postcolonial, transnational, and global perspectives. Key concepts and concerns of this wave include: 1. Postcolonial feminism. Critics explored how gender and sexuality intersected with issues of colonialism and imperialism in literature. They considered the experiences of women in postcolonial societies. 2. Transnational feminism. This wave examined how gender and sexuality are constructed and experienced in a global context, emphasizing the interconnectedness of feminist issues worldwide. 3. Intersectional feminism. Building on earlier intersectional theories, critics delved deeper into how different forms of oppression intersect and shape women's experiences, emphasizing the diversity of women's voices. 4. Women's agency and resistance. Critics highlighted women's agency in literature, showcasing how female characters resisted patriarchal norms and empowered themselves. The fourth wave of feminist literary criticism has been evolving since the early 2000s and continues to the present day. A focus on digital media, online activism, and the re-evaluation of earlier feminist theories marks it. Key concepts and concerns of this wave include: 1. Digital feminism. With the advent of the internet and social media, feminist literary criticism has expanded to analyze how digital spaces impact the representation of gender, activism, and storytelling. 2. Me Too and social movements. This wave engages with contemporary social movements like Me Too, exploring how literature and storytelling intersect with these movements and shape public discourse. 3. Re-evaluating past waves. Fourth wave feminists critically examine and reassess the contributions of earlier waves, considering how they may have overlooked certain voices or perspectives. 4. Evolving gender and sexuality. As discussions of gender and sexuality continue to evolve, this wave explores how literature reflects contemporary debates, including those related to non-binary and genderqueer identities. 5. Intersectional activism. The fourth wave emphasizes activism that incorporates intersectionality, acknowledging the importance of addressing multiple axes of oppression. In summary, feminist literary criticism has gone through 4 distinct waves, each with its own set of key concepts and concerns. These waves have built upon one another, expanding the scope of feminist analysis and providing deeper insights into how literature intersects with gender, identity, and social power structures. The field continues to evolve, reflecting ongoing societal changes and the ongoing struggle for gender equality and justice.